Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're back here with another video talking about the New Orleans Pelicans offseason. Before we start, it's now alleged that Troy Weaver's official title will be vice president to President Joe Dumars. Like and subscribe for more NBA content like this across the league. And before we continue, what do you guys think of this news that they are going to be retaining their general manager after firing David Griffin, specifically Mr. Todd Quinter and Gar Forman? Two guys have now departed, but specifically Mr. Bryce Graham will remain with the franchise. So I'd like to hear what you have to say down below on the retention of Mr. Bryson Graham. So the New Orleans Pelicans' decision to retain Bryson Graham as general manager under newly appointed president of basketball operation Joe Dumars is at least a signal of somewhat continuity. Could not speak right there, as they try to strategically restructure the franchise's future, as this will be a pivotal offseason. So we'll be, doing a bit of an analysis of the front office dynamics and what to expect from the Pelicans' approach moving forward. Why did they retain Bryson Graham? Now, Bryson Graham probably is a guy that they wanted to keep around, not only for continuity, but because he's had a role in the drafting of certain players like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy III, as he's been credited with identifying the under-the-radar talent that has manned the roster around Zion Williamson, and his familiarity with the team's core, salary structure, and long-term vision of Gail Benson will likely make him this, stabilizing force, or stabilizing, I guess you would say, force amid all this front office upheaval. And for Dumars, a former NBA Executive of the Year when he was with the Detroit Pistons, is tasked with helping or figuring out this important offseason, as they have moved off of David Griffin. So let's go into it and talk about what are we looking at. As I think Troy Weaver, someone put it like this: as long as he's not choosing the coach and he's just doing the player evaluation, I agree. Troy Weaver has shown a tendency to not be that bad of a player evaluator. Former Pistons GM and executive with the Thunder. Now, Dave Griffin was fired after a disastrous 21-61 season, and they want a fresh approach, is what they basically have alluded. We know with Zion Williamson, the franchise is at a crossroads. And with that crossroads, I think they're just trying to figure out where do they want to go and why. And I agree, it's an interesting one, because if I and the Pelicans, having a guy like Bryson Graham, he's going to help us figure out, do we believe in Zion? What's Zion like? His extension is non-guaranteed. They can cut him for no repercussions. I can't speak this morning. No repercussions if they were to, cut him. But the Pelicans are unlikely to waive him. Some people, pundits, argue that the Pelicans should turn the page on Zion and leverage his upside for a trade. However, I don't think he would fetch you much of anything besides some measly draft capital and cap flexibility, or starters that have matching salary, or a combination of starter level role players with matching salary. I don't believe this team should tank. They do have a projected top 4 pick. I do believe that Dylan Harper and more than likely Ace Bailey will not be available. And I think VJ Edgecombe would be the best guy for them to draft if they did have the 4th pick. An alternative approach that I think would be better is to trade the pick for a win-now talent. Who would a win-now talent be? That's where it becomes hard to look around the league and decide what they will do. I think CJ McCollum and DeJounte Murray are kind of they were the guard answers that I guess CJ kind of worked, but at the same time, I do know they'll never move off of CJ because allegedly there's a handshake agreement. I know this was allegedly the deal under David Griffin. I don't know if it's going to be honored or if this was with Gail Benson, but he's going to be a front office executive with the Pelicans as soon as he retires. So, also Keon Brooks, I really liked him, and they're likely losing Bruce Brown, so they should sign and trade him if possible. Now, this is a team that DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy all missed games. So you got to find a way to mitigate the health risks that they face. So that's my thoughts on Bryson Graham and a little bit of like what we thought of this roster. But it's definitely an interesting one to say the least. And yeah.